It was only after streaming Aviassembly for 16 hours that I discovered this unassuming little checkbox in the options menu. Turning off auto steer decouples the yaw and roll axes, arguably to too great an extent as a banked aircraft no longer turns naturally as it should. But even so, that one change transforms a quite arcadey flight system into something that, while by no means realistic, is at least somewhat representative of how a real aircraft controls. Rolls and loops, for example, become possible. And it was only after my attempts to recreate certain legends of aviation history, an interesting exercise, particularly when it came to coaxing fuselage segments into the desired shapes, often in order to make up for the limited selection of parts available in the early access. Mostly, I managed to create stubbier, more adorable versions, except for where the real thing was already stubby and adorable. But it was only after that aesthetic experiment that I began to more fully explore the practical side of things, in particular the somewhat game-breaking efficiency of photovoltaic power. In real life, solar-powered aircraft have to look like this, but in Aviassembly it is possible to create what I've dubbed the voltaic interceptor, top speed on the level 955 meters per second, equivalent to 1,856 knots, or Mach 2.8. Operational range? Wherever the sun shines. And the sun is always shining in this game from its fixed position in the north as a subtle replacement for a compass. Incidentally, there is almost certainly no edge to this world, just boundless tracts of sea. Another crucial part is the rotation joint, which, when combined with the aforementioned solar power fantasy, can produce this monstrosity, the voltaic VTOL. If you're flying with a controller, as I am, I recommend mapping the rotations to the left and right bumpers as they are unused in the default layout. Mirrored rotation joints, of course, need to have mirrored mapping, otherwise some interesting things could happen. This thing is, however, really more of a VTOZL, if you will. The center of mass, as usual with this game, is too far aft. We really could use a separate, lighter weight version of fuselage to reflect the fact that cargo, bombs, and fuel are generally not kept in the tail. The problem is complicated by the fact that loading cargo shifts the center of mass, in this case forward. Bringing the aircraft into a stable hover for a vertical landing, then, is not entirely possible. I'm sure it is possible, however, to build something that is properly balanced. And supposedly the one-man dev team is working on adding helicopter parts and mechanics anyway. All of this to say that there's a lot of potential lurking beneath what may at first seem like a very simple or even bare-bones set of systems. I haven't messed with them, but there's even a decoupler and a rocket engine for the more Kerbal inclined. And that brings me to where my hopes and my concerns truly lie. My only problem with Aviassembly is that I want more. More parts, more missions, more biomes, more detailed simulation, particularly with regards to trimming an aircraft, the center of lift, and the effects of a dihedral or anhedral wing form, and so on and so forth. And, so far, more is what we are getting. At the time of writing, Update 2 has just introduced a lot more decals, including, I'm happy to say, a 5-pointed star, as well as a color picker, ramjet engines, and the ability to bring fuselage segments to a finer point. So let us hope that the improvements keep on coming. Let us hope, or perhaps pray, that the gods of early access will not demand another sacrifice.